Hello, everyone. I'm Nutkevitch. I'm a product manager from Defender XDR and from Sentinel. I'm leading custom detections and analytics rules, and I'm also part of the product team of data exploration. We are owning advanced hunting page and among other stuff. And Jeremy, now to you.
Thanks, Noah. Hi, everyone. My name is Jeremy Tan. I'm also a product manager with the Microsoft Sentinel customer experience engineering team. I'm also focusing on the custom detection.
Okay, so today, as I guess you understand, we're going to talk about custom detections and analytics rules and how we're going to unify them. What is important for us that you'll take from this session is, first of all, to understand our vision for unified custom detections and to get concrete knowledge to support your adoption of unified custom detections, and of course, more details to come. So to the agenda, we have a lot to cover today. We'll start from general context about the SIEM and XDR unification that Jeremy will cover. Then we'll talk about unified custom detections, what are we unifying and what is the vision. And then we'll move to the benefits of unified custom detections comparing to analytics rules and the timeline of the unification. We'll then focus into recent enhancements delivered to custom detections, and we'll wrap up everything in a live demo where you can see the advantages, the benefits, and the recent enhancements. We'll finish with presenting a comparison table, detailed comparison table between custom detections, unified custom detections and analytics, and with explaining what you should do next. And finally, we'll have a short Q&A. Jeremy.
Thanks, Noah, for the great intro. Now, before we deep dive into the how of the unification of custom detection, I just want to quickly give a background of why, right? So why unify custom detection? So later on, Noah will actually bring you through the journey, right, where we are at today, and also the direction that we are heading to. But before that, it all started with the announcement of the Microsoft Unified platform about 2 years ago, where we are unifying our best of breed security products. So as you could see here, right, we are bringing in together the threat intelligence, exposure management, right, SIEM plus XDR. So all under a single platform. So that will actually give the user a single unified experience, right? So as you could see over here, right? So all the capabilities under SIEM as XDR, and also Microsoft Security Copilot, and also the even the data lake that we just announced recently. Now, if you are familiar, right, if you are coming from the Sentinel world, obviously for the user-defined detection, you will be familiar with the analytics rule available in Sentinel. Now, for users who are more familiar with the Defender XDR, you might already be familiar with the custom detections available in the Defender XDR. So when the unification happened, now the user has two options, right, in defining the user-defined detections. So this is why we are having this webinar today, just to give you a deep dive. So if you are familiar with either one of these user-defined detections, so this will be an opportunity for you to learn more. And if you are already familiar, if you are already onboarded to the unification experience, so this is also a good pathway to you to learn about the benefits. And of course, for those who already using the Sentinel in the Defender portal, you should be familiar with this, right? So as I showed you earlier in the previous slides, you now get all the user experience, all the SIEM plus XDR capability under one single portal. We also just announced back in July, right? So now the Defender portal is the a new home, right, for Sentinel. And of course, those who haven't onboarded, please plan for your transition. Now, that is a bit of background, and I'll now hand it back to Noah to, explain further on the why and what. Noah, back to you.
Yes, thanks, Jeremy. So in the unified portal, as Jeremy showed, we now have both analytics rules and custom detections. They live side by side. And let's understand why we want to unify them and what's the solution. So Jeremy, let's move to the next slide. And this is what you'd see if you were onboarded to the Defender portal. You were coming to advanced hunting to define the KQL logic for your detection. And then if you want to create a detection, you have two options. One is custom detection that's coming originally from this portal, from the Defender portal, from the XDR solution. The other one is analytics rules that originally coming from Sentinel, and now both of them are here. And users have to choose which one they want to create. And the fact is that they serve the exact same use case, and it creates confusion. And next slide. So here you see what was the situation till recently. That's not the situation right now. When you wanted to manage your detection in the unified portal, you had to switch between two lists, one containing only custom detections, the other one containing only analytics rules. So I think it's pretty clear why we want to unify. We want you to have one complete experience and API to create custom detections across all data. We want you to have one page and API to manage your custom detections. And we are unifying custom detections and analytics rules into our unified custom detection solution, which is, in fact, custom detections, but enhanced. Our expectation is that customers will gradually adopt custom detections as your main solution. And of course, we have more about that soon. Okay. I also want to show you how we've already delivered a unified experience into the Defender portal. What you see now when you come to the Defender portal to manage or to create your detection is, first of all, you have all your detections in the same list. You can see that that's the top image, the bottom image, sorry. So you have here both analytics rules and custom detections. You can filter and search and edit your rules. And at the top, you see our new unified wizard to create custom detections, and you can use it across all your data, both Sentinel and XDR. Okay, so now that we explain why we're unifying, what we are unifying, and what is the solution, I want to highlight some important benefits that custom detections, the unified custom detection solution, brings to you, to our customers. So, as you can see, this is a dense slide with many details, but as I see it, everything here is very important and valuable to you. So we'll take it slowly, one by one. I've also divided the benefits to 3 buckets. The first one is how custom detections improves your protection. The second one is how it improves your efficiency. And last one, it's how custom detections help you save costs. So let's start from the top. First bullet is about reduce time to detect. So custom detections have NRT solution, near real-time detections. Also analytics have, but NRT detections of custom detections, the unified custom detections, is based on a streaming technology where events are evaluated as they stream into the system. This is in contrary to the implementation of NRT analytics rules, where we fetch the results, we pull them from your Custome clusters every minute. This means that while custom detections fire alerts immediately as events come, and they are not sensitive at all to ingestion delays, analytics rules fire only after 1 minute and also, of course, sensitive to ingestion delays. Second bullet is also related to NRT, and it's about the limit of amount of NRT rules you can create. With custom detections, you can create as many NRT detections as you want, while with analytics rules, the limit is 50 detections. The reason, by the way, is also stem from the technology. While custom detections use the streaming technology that doesn't put any load on your Custome clusters, analytics rules use the polling technology where we fetch the data every minute, and this put a lot of load. So that's also why we can approve this unlimited amount of detections. Next bullet is about enhanced detection context. With XDR functions, those are special functions that are available to you from advanced hunting that provide more context, like file profiles, seen by, device from IP. You can see them here. And you can combine those, you can use them with custom detections and also combine those with your Sentinel data. I want to emphasize that these functions are not available for analytics rule. You cannot ingest them to Sentinel. So this is pure unique value you get with unified custom detections. And the last bullet is about the 30 days lookback that is available when you create custom detections that run in a frequency of 24 hours. This allows you to create sophisticated advanced detections logic based on trends, long trends, and baselines that are now available for you and are less accurate when creating with analytics that have the 14 days limit. So now let's go to the improved efficiency. I just want to clarify that when I say efficiency here, I'm thinking of the efficiency of the detection engineer that comes to create his new detection or her new detection, how easy it is, how fast it is. So first bullet is about native remediation actions. With custom detections, you have available built-in XDR remediation actions that you can configure to automatically run when alert is triggered. And the configuration is with maximum 2 clicks from the wizard. And when you could do this from analytics rules with special automations and playbooks, it consumes a lot more effort and maintenance. Next bullet is about automatic entity mapping. I believe that all of you here that worked with detections, I think you can identify that the entity mapping step when creating a new detection is a very challenging one. When you have to map the entities from the schema to the alert, you have to make sure it's accurate. It's also very important since it provides the context to the alert and also informs the correlation engine, the correlation that correlates alerts into an attack story. And with custom detections, we benefit from the unique knowledge and the expertise we have here in Microsoft with the schema of the XDR tables. And when XDR tables are involved in your logic, we suggest the entities for you automatically. And of course, you have the full flexibility to change, to add entities or to remove them if they're less relevant. Last bullet here is about out-of-the-box deduplication of alerts. This is something that I think many customers are not aware of. It's a huge advantage of custom detections. While with analytics rules, you have to worry and find solution for duplicated alerts that fire on the same event. There are different reasons for this situation to occur. With the custom detections, we do the deduplication for you. We identify when alerts are related to identical or similar events. We group them into one alert, and this, of course, reduces the load and the alerts fatigue. Okay, and the last but not least bullet here or section is about saving costs. So how unified custom detection helps you save costs, while with analytics rules and before the unification and SIEM and XDR, you had to ingest your XDR data into Sentinel if you wanted to create detections that are based on a combination of XDR and your third-party data. Now you don't need this anymore. All the data is available from advanced hunting. You can create custom detections on XDR data, Sentinel data, and a combination of both of them without the need to stream your XDR data into Sentinel. So those were the benefits, and as I said before, you'll also see some of them in the demo, and you'll have this deck, so you can go back to it later. Now let's move to talk about the timeline for unification. Okay, so as you probably feel, it's not going to be super easy for you to adopt entirely custom detections as your only solution, especially for those of you that are very used to working with analytics rules. We recognize this, we acknowledge it, and this is how we see the timeline for the adoption of the unified custom detection solution. And yes, it's a journey. So the red circle is where we are right now. We are now announcing that we have a unification, a unified solution for custom detections and analytics. We have this webinar. We've also published a blog last week. And you have all the links also available in another slide. You'll see it later on. But until we got to this point where we believe that custom detections are mature enough to be our unified solution, we've invested a lot in enhancing custom detections. You can see this in the enhancements rectangle. And we delivered many new functionalities to custom detections, and Jeremy will walk you through those enhancements after this slide. What's coming next? So during the next year, more or less, we are expecting you, customers, to adopt custom detections when creating new detections. In parallel, we, Microsoft, are going to invest a lot in closing more gaps that still remain between analytics rules and custom detections. We'll explain more about those gaps in another slide. And of course, adding also new value to custom detections that will provide more benefits for you. And after that, we'll start focusing on migration of existing analytics rules to custom detections. We will provide tools and guidance to help you migrate your existing analytics to custom detections and benefit from all the advantages I mentioned before and for more that are planned to come. Jeremy, now to you.
Thanks, Noah. All right, so before we go into the live demo, so I think since everyone now have a better understanding of the journey, right, and the benefit and enhancement. So just want to do a bit of recap, right? What are the enhancement that we released, right, a couple of months ago. I will also be showing you in the demo later. But first, let's just do a quick recap and just want to highlight, right, some of them. The first one is the unified rule list that was mentioned in one of the Noah earlier slides, right? So instead of having two locations, right, to view your custom detection rule and analytics rule, you now have one single pane of glass, right? A unified list that allows you to view both custom detection and analytics rule, and of course you could perform filtering as well. And we also support using custom detection on Sentinel data, right? That means You could write a query. This is just a good example, right? Sign-in logs is a table in Sentinel. You could see that, just by creating a query, there's only query, the Sentinel table will also work in custom detection. And besides that, in terms of frequency, we understand that, for Sentinel customer who are using analytics rule, right? Many of them are running those rules in a higher frequency, for example, like 5 minutes or 10 minutes. So if you are using custom detection to query data for the Sentinel table, so we are providing the same experience as well, as you could see, right? The ability to define custom frequency, for example, like 5 minutes. And another, important capabilities in analytics rule, which is the ability to define dynamic properties, right? So over here, as you could see, we are also allowing user to define the dynamic title and descriptions of the alert. And another part of enrichment is the custom detail. So again, you see this familiar UI, right? If you are using this capability in analytics rule. So similarly, you will also have this now in custom detection. And one of the benefits that Noah mentioned earlier is the automatic entity mapping, right? So that will actually help to reduce the sort of like the maybe human error, right, in performing the entity mapping. So whenever the custom detection recognize, the standard column, right, you help you to perform the mapping. All right, so those are the recap. So now let's look at how it looks like in the live demo. So I have prepared a couple of or two rules actually. So let me just get ready the information over here. Okay. Now first, I also want to. I know I mentioned it earlier, but just want to quickly show you again. So this is the unified rule list, right, which you will find under the custom detection rules menu over here. So as I mentioned earlier, you'll be able to perform filtering, right? So for example, if I want to filter based on the rule type, right, I'll be able to do that. And I will also be able to click, right, on the individual rule, right? So let's say if I want to make any changes, right, if I want to enable, disable, delete, and etc. And I want to have a quick view of the rule information, for example, like the query, right, the logic, configurations, and etc. I'll be able to see it, right, directly from the list itself without going into the rule wizard. Similarly, same experience for the custom detection rules as well, right? As you could see over here, I'm able to edit, run, see the description and query and etc. directly from the rule list. So I mentioned that I prepared a couple of use case for this demo. Now the first one, if you look at this query, right? If coming from the Sentinel world, you should recognize the security event table over here, right? This is collecting Windows security event, right? A table that only exists in Sentinel. And this is joining the XDR table, right? So I have the device TVM table, right? So this is not available in Sentinel. And I also joining the device info table, right? That another table in XDR. So without sending the XDR data from Defender XDR to Sentinel, I now able to create a custom detection with the query that joins, right? You can see the correlation between the Sentinel table and also the XDR table. Yeah. I also want to mention, so if you remember one of the benefits that Noah mentioned earlier in the benefit slides, right? So the function, right? This is the one of the built-in XDR function, right? So this is not available in analytics rule because this is not really like a KQL function, right? So this is a built-in function that only available in XDR. So you could see this query is able to utilize it, right? To get additional information. So basically, this query is to get the privileged security events, right? Critical CVE, and join together, right, to get the result, as you can see. Now, let's say I want to create a detection rule. So this is basically, if you still remember one of the early slides, right, this is now the default wizard, right, the default experience, whereas previously you have the two options, right, in one of the earlier slides that Noah mentioned. So we are simplifying the experience where you only get this as the default wizard. However, if you still want to create analytics rule, right, there is still an option here. However, because in my query, I'm correlating Sentinel table and XDR table, and my XDR table doesn't exist in Sentinel. So that's why you see that the option for analytics rule is grayed out. All right, so for this demo, let me just quickly fill in the rule information. So I'm just gonna copy and paste from a notepad that I prepared earlier. So this is my detection name. This is my rule description. So I'm gonna leave the frequency to run every day, right, for this rule. And take note that you can see that I get to have the look back of 30 days, right? Again, this is another benefit because for those who are familiar with the analytics rule, you know that the look back for analytics rule is maximum 14 days, right? So obviously, having 30 days allows me to do a longer sort of like trending, right, monitoring. And of course, for the demo purpose, I'm just gonna quickly pick the rest of the information and I'm gonna move next. Now, I mentioned about the dynamic alert title and description. So basically, I could utilize any of the column value, right, by defining it with the double curly bracket over here. So you can see that I have a column called exposure level. I want that to appear in my alert title, right? So this is how I would do it. And also for description, I want to surface, right, the event IDs in the description as well. So I could leverage the event IDs column and put it under the double curly bracket. I also want to perform some enrichment. So let's say for the exposure level, so I would like to surface that under custom details, right? I could do that as well. And if you're familiar with analytics rule, you probably have done this before. So this is the same experience where you just need to define your custom details, key value pairs, right, over here. So in terms of entity mapping, so you could see over here that it already automatically performed the mapping for me, right? So again, this is another benefit, right? I don't need to worry about human error. Of course, if I want to change or modify, I could do that. So I'm going to click next. Now, another benefit is you'll be able to leverage the first party automated action, right? So if you remember in my query earlier, right, I'm correlating with the XDR table, right? So with the device ID, for example, right? So it knows that, right, I have this device ID information. So that's why I have the options for the under devices. For example, if I want to isolate device, I could do that. And then, when the instant trigger, right, the rules kicks in, right, you'll be able to perform the automated actions. Now, I'm not gonna click save But I do want to show you how the incidents will look like. So this is, the sample incidents that get triggered, right, with the rule information that I just show you. So you can see that, you get the incident title, right? Here you have the relevant alerts over here. So if I just click on the alerts, you can see, right, the description. And if I scroll to the right, I just want to show you the description over here. If you still remember, I've defined the dynamic alert description, right, with the event ID, right, showing up here. I have also defined the custom details, right? You can see it shows up over here as well. So over here, I can see the timeline, right? Obviously, it will help in terms of the investigation, and I also able to see the query result, right? So the same result that you saw earlier, right? When I show you the query. So this is the first use case, right? With the query of Sentinel plus Defender table. Now I also have a second example. Now this second example is much more simpler. So this is basically just querying the Sentinel table, right? The sign-in logs table. But I would like to add some twists into it as well, right? I want to add some the correlation with a watch list, right? So this is again a common scenario that you will perform in analytics rule, right? You will write a query and correlate with a watch list, right? So again, in the Defender portal, I get all my Sentinel capabilities under the Sentinel menu. So of course I have my watch list over here, and I already predefined my VIP user watch list, right? So this is the out-of-box watch list. And I'll just run this just to show you, as you can see, right? So I have a user over here. So here is the sample query. You can see that, it's just a simple query that I want to look at the sign-in logs, right? The failure to sign on. So you can see there's a lot of records over here, right? Of the item. And just in case you're not aware, the timeline above the result is another new capability in advanced hunting, right? So this helped me to visualize the trend, the amount of data, right, that I have in my query. So, and again, I'm gonna use this to create a custom detection. So over here, so let's say this is a detection for suspicious logon, right, from VIP, and I'll just populate the rule description, right? This is based on the watch list correlation. And I would like to demonstrate another, enhancement, which is the custom frequency. Okay, so for this one, I will run this for, every 5 minutes. So this is every 5 minutes, I want to run it frequently. Now, keep in mind that it will help you to automatically define the look back as well. If you want to, if you're interested to know more about this, we have this documented as well. So I'm gonna quickly choose the rest of the information and then move next. Now, similar to the previous sample, I'm gonna leverage the dynamic property as well. So here in the title, I'm gonna, use the user display name column, right, for it to be populated under my title, and description as well. I'm gonna populate the location and the result code into my description. So I could do the same for custom details. So let's say I want to populate the device detail. So I'll just select the device detail information, and I would also want to populate another column, maybe client app use. So again, I just need to select the relevant column. Now over here, as you can see, it will also help me to perform the automatic entity mapping. Now, because in my table there's a lot of columns, right? I'm using, so it helped me to populate the relevant ones. But again, I can make changes. So let's say, I might not want to have this, I might not want to have this, so I just want to keep this too, right? I can make changes, at any time, as you can see. And again, I'm gonna click next. So I'm not gonna save this just like before, but I'll show you how the sample incident looks like. Now, this is a sample incident. Again, you can see the name, surface in my incidents. And if you look at the, let me see the description, right? You can see that the location, right, and the result codes, right, is already here. Now, if you still remember, right, in my query, there was a lot of result, right? But as you can see, there are only 2 alerts being triggered. The reason is because if you still remember, one of the benefits that Noah mentioned is the dedupe capabilities, right? And if you have used any, third-party tool or any app, I think it's safe to say that it's kind of complex, right, to perform any deduplication, right, in any app or in any environment. And I hope you realize that I didn't configure any deduplication, right, in my wizard earlier, and this is helping me to perform it automatically. However, if I click on the alerts and if I look at the query result, you can see that I still get all my result over here, but it didn't create like too much noise, right, by triggering each and every one, because we have a built-in capabilities. Whenever the engine find that, hey, this is identical, right? You have the identical entity, identical custom details, it will help you to dedupe. So that means we'll increase the first scene, last scene, instead of like creating new alerts every time. Now, for these 2 alerts, I just want to show you the reason why I'm getting these 2 alerts is because the uniqueness, right, of the custom details. So for here, you can see that the browser being used is Edge, right, whereas the other one, let me scroll down and see, the browser being used is Chrome, right? So it's different values. So although the entity, right, are the same, but because of the different custom detail, right, it will not be grouped together, but you create a new one instead. But if let's say everything is identical, right, so I will not get any duplicate alert. So this is the, one of the benefits of the custom detection. So that concludes the demo. Let me go back to the deck, and I'll hand it back to Noah to walk us through on the comparison.
Yes, thanks, Jeremy, for the great demo. So I want to show you now this table. I can share that there are 4 slides with this parts of this comparison table that actually compares the capabilities, the features of analytics rules and custom detections, which is now our unified solution, our unified custom detections. This table is, by the way, was just copied and pasted from our public documentation. We just updated it, I think, last week. So you have it all there. I'm not gonna go row by row here. I just want to emphasize that you have this and you can use this to understand the exact state, what is supported where, and also get a sense of what is planned and what will come. Let's just look at, for an example, at the last row under the alert enrichment section. It's about the ability to define all alerts properties dynamically. Jeremy showed you that you can already dynamically define the title and the description of the alert in custom detections, but you cannot still yet define the other properties like severity and others. And it is supported with analytics rules, but you can see from this table that it is planned and it will be supported with custom detections. So let's just go over the next slide and the one after it. I just want to highlight something else in the last slide of the comparison table. Yes, so here you can see this red rectangle. I wanted to highlight a few features that I know are very important to customers. We hear a lot of questions on them. I also saw in the chat. So the first 3 rows here in the red rectangle are about managing detections as code and CI/CD. And I want to highlight, first of all, that custom detections already have an API. It's currently in beta and will be GA'd pretty soon. And about integration with Sentinel repositories and bicep support, all is planned and will be supported. And the last row is about creating rules from the Content Hub. And again, this is, we know, very important. We know that customers use the Content Hub a lot and that you love it. And we are, of course, planning to support it with custom detections. So that's all. You, of course, have the link to the documentation. Jeremy will show you the links in the next slide. So Jeremy, now to what the customer should do next.
So now let's, so right now, by now, you already learned about the why and the how, right? So hopefully you now understand the benefits of it, and you already have insights of the journey, right? So it's a kind of long journey, I would say, and but I hope this provide clarity, right? The clarity of where we are at now and what we plan to do, right, going forward. So now let's talk about, the call action, right, for customer, for you guys, right? So what you should do, right? First of all, if you haven't already, and hopefully after, the custom detection is able to provide. And we, as you can see at the bottom, there's 4 links over here, right? So there's a link to the official documentation. There's a link to the recent enhancement as well. So those will actually summarize the some of the demo and benefits that I just mentioned. Now, you might be wondering, okay, so can I now start using custom detections, right? So absolutely, right? Absolutely. If, let's say, your use case is supported, with the existing custom detection capability. And how do you know, what are the capabilities that is supported? And if not, when whether it will be supported in the future. So that's where the comparison table, right, will help you. So the screenshot that you saw earlier from Noah, right? So hopefully, there's a link over here. You'll be able to visit and review it, right? So after reviewing the comparison table, so when possible, that means if your use case is able to be performed by custom detections, so we recommend and encourage you to create your use case with custom detection. Okay, so if not, obviously analytics rule will still continue to be available, but hopefully you start adopting the custom detection as soon as possible. And for those of you, I know some of you might have an internal policy in reviewing your analytics rule, right? Periodically, right? Either every quarter, every month. So when you are reviewing your existing analytics rule, also please consider, when possible, migrate your analytics rule to custom detection so that you can enjoy the benefits, right? That we mentioned and showcase to you. So just to put the action into a simple diagram, right? So this is a simple diagram. This pretty much summarize, right, what I just mentioned, right? So if you have any new use cases, feel free, right, to consider, right, using custom detection. You can do that by getting yourself familiarized with the recent enhancement, review the comparison table, right? So if the capabilities for your use case are supported, right, create them under custom detection rule. Otherwise, of course, you can continue to use it, create it under analytics rule, but please, do a periodic review of your existing analytics rule because we'll be updating, right, the custom detection and enhancing it from time to time. Of course, we'll be updating the comparison table as well. So when it becomes available, consider, moving the analytics rule to the custom detection. So this is just the, the summary and call to action and takeaway. Hopefully today session is useful, and you get a better idea and understanding. So yeah, so back to you, Emily. I think perhaps we have time for a few questions.
Absolutely, and we have a lot of questions, so thank you everybody for submitting those, and our moderators we have on the call will continue to go through those as quickly as they can. So please continue to feel free to send those through if you have them. But we have time for a few to ask our speakers today. So our first one is, will analytics rules be retired?
Well, I'll take the first one. So as I mentioned earlier, right? So you can still continue to use analytics rule. Now, just one thing we would like to clarify. So at the beginning, right, of the slides, so we mentioned that the unification, right, of the unified experience, right, is the reason, right, why we want to unify the custom detection. Now, although there already been an announcement of the transitioning your Sentinel into the Defender portal, right, by July next year. However, analytics rule will still continue to work, will still continue to be supported, right? So for example, if you are using your analytics rule today, you continue to work after you onboard, right, your Sentinel to Defender portal. If you are using repository to deploy your rule, it will still continue to work, right, even though after July next year. So this is something that we want to clarify. And of course, let's say, in the long future, right? So let's say if we do plan to somehow, make the unified custom detection as the only user-defined rule, we will definitely ensure that, right, it will, user will get a heads up, right, and given sufficient time to prepare for the migration, right? But as for now, analytics rule will continue to work, right, even though after the migration. So I hope that clarifies.
Great, thanks, Jeremy. Our next question says, I'm currently deploying analytics rules as code. Will there be a migration path to convert my existing templates to custom detections templates?
Yeah, I can take that. So as I showed in the timeline, we definitely plan to help you and provide tools and guidance to migrate both from the UI and also the detections as code. But we cannot yet commit to a concrete timeline or a concrete solution or tool. But the answer is yes, we are planning to provide guidance and tools to help you with this migration.
Great. And our next question says, what will happen to the analytics rules deployed through solutions from the Content Hub? Will I need to redeploy them?
Yes, so every analytics rules that you already created from the Content Hub will continue to act and behave as they are today, and we don't plan to require any manual action to redeploy them. Content Hub, as I also mentioned before, will of course still be supported currently with analytics rules, and later on with the unified custom detections, but you won't need to redeploy your active analytics rules.
Great. And then it looks like we have a couple of questions that are asking about limits on how many custom detection rules can run or be active.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so I can say that there is no hard limit on the number of custom detections that can be deployed, although scheduled custom detections put load on the system, and there are system limitations, but no hard limits.
Okay, great. I'm just looking through here to see if we have any other questions. Can custom analytics rules use ADX tables?
No.
Okay. Let's see. Another question says, can I call multiple logic apps from the custom detection rules, automating some actions like manager notification emails, alert teams on Teams, etc.?
So the integration of automation rules and also playbooks is coming. We are going to support that like it's supported with analytics rules, but this is not currently supported.
Okay, great. Let's see here. All right, we got a couple new. Okay, perfect. I think for the most part, we've got most of our questions answered. There were quite a few duplicates or kind of questions along the same theme, so we have a lot of those answered in the chat. So really just wanted to say thank you so much, everybody, for joining, and thank you so much to our speakers today as well, Noah and Jeremy, for being our guests today, and for sharing all of that great information with our community. Also, thank you to our Q&A team who worked very hard behind the scenes to help us answer all of those questions that were sent through and provide really great resourceful information. To all the listeners that are still on the line, if you're someone who wishes to aid in the protection of the world from cyber threats and a desire to have a say in shaping our strategies, blueprints, and recommendations, then we invite you to become part of our security community. Together, we can make a global impact. So join us at aka.ms/securitycommunity. This is also where you'll be notified about upcoming webinars, events, and other announcements. For those of you who have additional questions on the topic we covered today or any other product-related questions, please feel free to raise them on our Microsoft Tech Community discussion space at aka.ms/Microsoft Sentinel Community. Thank you all for being part of our community and for joining us on these webinars. We hope to see you next time. Goodbye.